All right, so in this chapter, we're going to start to add some more meshes and flesh out the scene a bit more. So I'm going to select on my wall piece here, and I'll make sure that I'm in the Details tab. And I'm going to hit the little arrow next to the static mesh icon here, and that will take me to the folder that this static mesh is located in. This is where all of the other static meshes are located, and that's in the Content Assets Mesh folder. So what I want to do is scroll and look for some things to add. I'm going to start with kind of structural assets first, and then we can start to add uh, smaller and medium-sized meshes. So one of the things I can do is grab one of these pillars and bring a pillar in. And I'm going to click on this little window button on the top right corner, and I'm going to go and do the same for this window here. And this is pretty difficult to see. So what I'll do is type in floor, hit enter, and then I can turn off all the floors. And this is going to leave me with my walls and my pillars. So now I'll select a wall piece here, and I can kind of see where the two wall pieces connect. And I'll bring my pillar over to there, and I'm going to drag it in so I've got half of a pillar kind of stuck into the wall there. Okay, so I can make another note here with the grid and select this guy and alt drag another one of those there. And I'll do the same thing. Bring another one there. Looks like I might just be off a bit. And let's grab one more for the corner. I think it'll be easiest for me to look in the top here. Yep, to get that center right there. And we'll do the same for this here. Okay, so I can just type floor again and hit enter. Enter. And toggle those all back on. And I think these are a little too close together. So what I'll do is delete that center one, and I'm going to bring these over just about a meter. Like so. And I think that looks a little bit better. Okay. Next thing I'm going to do, and I'm going to select these walls and blow them out. I'll grab my pillars and we'll duplicate them by holding Alt and drag. And we're going to want to set them halfway on that floor there. Okay, I'll grab some of my floors and actually got some of those floors here. And I'll alt drag another set out to create a little landing or a walkway. And let's do the same with the ceiling. Okay, I can duplicate another light, move it out here just so I've got some visibility over here. Next thing I'll do is let's grab a gate and throw it in the middle here. So I'll just grab one of these gates, or actually I'll grab gate 0, 1. And I'm going to pull that out over here, kind of place this gate in the center of these two. And it doesn't fit exactly. So what I think I'll do is just grab the scale here and scale it. I'm also going to turn off. I did one click here. We'll see that it's scaled at like 25%, and that's pretty close. I want to get it a little more finite. So what I'll do is turn off the scale snapping, and then I can grab this handle, and I'm going to drag it just until we get right up close to that guy there. I'm going to put my snap back on, and let's grab some other gates. All right, so let's try gate left, and let's rotate this 90 degrees. And let's get this guy in there. And then we've also got gate right. Let's rotate that. And select the two of these. Alt drag them. I'm gonna hit spacebar and rotate them 180 degrees. And we'll just move it over here into place. Okay, starting to look good. I think I'm gonna add some other gates over here. Rotate this one 90. And add a little gate to block anyone from getting over to here. And we'll do the same for the other side. I'm going to go on my top view just to make sure that I'm kind of in line. And it looks like I'm not, so I'll just snap that over one more unit. Double check this guy. Looked like it was all good, so that one's good. Okay, and I think I'm going to need duplicate a wall here. And we are going to need a wall to block this. If it's a little difficult to see, I'm going to go into unlit mode, and I'll just snap that back to where this side lines up, and we should be good and in the center there. I'm going to hold Alt and Shift and drag over another one there to place on the other side. I think I'll duplicate another one of these over. rotate it 90, pull it out to about there to do something like that, and do the same over here. Okay. I think I'm going to take these ceiling pieces and I'm going to rotate them down, and we'll bring them up and back. Let's make sure that they're closed nice and tight like that. Okay, and then let's select our pillars here, and let's alt drag them up to create a second story. Okay, I'll do the same thing. Let's drag up another story here, and let's rotate these 90 degrees. And we'll bring these over. And let's do the same for the floor here. I'm gonna hit Alt and rotate them up 90 degrees. And then drop them down. Then Alt drag them over, rotate another 90, and we'll do maybe 3 rows over here. And then we'll rotate, duplicate and rotate, and drag these up. And then connect these to meet. Okay, it looks like I got an extra row over here. No problem. I'm gonna delete these by shift clicking, and then I'll just hit the delete key. For some reason, we've got a little gap there. I could try to figure it out, but I'll just undo that there. Okay, so at this point, let's hit play. I can run around to kind of take a look at my scene. And it's starting to come together. So I'm going to grab some different pillars here. And let's put them over here on this back wall. I'm going to drag this down to the floor, and then we'll alt drag them up until we hit the ceiling. Okay, then I'll duplicate another set over there. I'll go into my top view. I'm gonna type in floor and we'll hide the floor. And I'm gonna use these big grid lines here to make sure that I'm lined up. Now it looks like these are on uh, a different grid. So meaning I can't get the center to line up with this center. It looks like it's maybe 5 off. So I'm going to change this from the 10 grid to the 5 grid, move that over 1. I'll do the same with this. I'm going to drag select over all of those because if I just click, we'll see that I'm moving just like the top one. So let's grab them all, move those over, and then I can put them back on the 10 grid there. And I should now be able to line these up. So I've got 1 on this meter grid, then I've got another 1 meter, 2 meter, 3 meter, and then this is on the next one. And I'll just duplicate that pattern. So 1, 2, 3, another one, right? So 1, 2, 3, and another one. We'll do the same 1, 2, 3, and another one. Okay, let's make our floors visible again. And let's go into lit mode. And I can just bring some more lights into the scene. Okay, cool. Next, I'm gonna grab some of these ceiling slats. All right, I'm gonna rotate this guy 90 degrees, and actually, I'm gonna rotate them this way so that the pivot is in line with the ceiling. And I'm also gonna go into unlit mode just because it's gonna be a little easier for me. I'm gonna go into, I think I'm lined up there in the center, but let's double check by grabbing our pillar and that guy and going into the top view and hitting F to frame. And yes, it looks like I'm centered. I am just gonna pull this in so it is intersecting. And then, well, before I start to duplicate these, let's get the height right. So that's coming down way too much for me. I just want, maybe a bit of the beam like so. Okay. And yeah, let's extend it out like so. For me, it's easiest to go back into the top view and just duplicate these on out. So let's do that. Got one for there, one for those sets of pillars, and one for these sets of pillars. All right, cool. So we've got these things sticking out, and they might look weird. And I might also want another set over here. I'll determine that later. But what I want to do now is let's just take this opportunity and make a little bit of an architectural interest here. So I'll drag out a copy of these, rotate them 90 degrees up, and let's just create a little kind of bracket here. And then I'll alt drag these up again, rotate them 90. Let's pull that up to the ceiling. And then let's make sure these are butted up against there. And we'll alt drag another set off and intersect them over there. We can take a look in lit mode. Cool. We've got somewhat of an interesting detail there. All right, at this point, I think I'll take a row here of my floor, wall, and ceiling. And let's duplicate it on out a few times. Let's go into unlit. Okay, and let's duplicate it on out over onto the other side. So these are floor pieces. So I'm going to duplicate my wall piece up there on that side. And I'll duplicate my corner wall piece over here. And then I'll take some of these guys and duplicate them over. Now you'll notice that we have a little bit of Z fighting here. So I'll grab all of these. I think I want this as well. And I'm going to Alt, drag, and then we'll hold Shift to move this out over here. I can right click on this big chunk and go to Transform and Mirror in X. And then I'll just line this up. Let's check. And it looks like I've got to delete these floor pieces. So let's make sure it's the floor that I'm selecting. And just kind of got to click on it maybe until we get at the floor piece. Look, proving to be quite difficult. Oh, maybe I just had two wall pieces there. All right, and then to fill in this gap, let's just drag another set up here, and then we'll duplicate a copy over and drag it there. Then go back kind of to my main area. We'll go back to lit, and we've got a nice extension there on either side.